Hi everybody, it's Katie Burley. I'm a wild tree rep in mid-Michigan, and I wanted to give a couple quick little pieces of information about the last minute prepping before you attend a freezer meal workshop. So the first thing that people often ask is, how long is it going to take me to do the prep? If you haven't already grocery shopped, I would say that shopping for your list alone will probably take you about 45 minutes. If you're doing it in conjunction with your regular groceries, it'll add some extra time, but obviously not 45 extra minutes onto your regular, because you'll be in some of the same places you would already be. And then once you get home, there is a pre-workshop prep document that has been emailed to you. Those steps typically only take people about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how focused you can be and how hard you're working, or if you have any help, it might even be shorter. I know some people like to do it together with their husband or partner after the kids go to bed. I know that some people like to do it with their kids and have helpers opening cans or labeling bags, depending on the ages of your kids. So it can definitely be a family thing, and it doesn't have to be a burden. I would say that the first time I did it, it probably took me about 45 minutes. I've already said this in another video, but that one was a little longer, a little harder to get through, so in case you didn't hear it all, I would recommend paying attention to the instructions and doing things the way that work well for you. So I don't mean paying attention in the sense of follow every detail, but just saying, we don't like onions, so I'm not going to put onions in this meal, even though the recipe says to, or we don't prefer chicken in giant chunks. My kids actually eat it better if I slice it up. So even though it says chicken breast whole, maybe you want to do that slicing ahead of time. Or maybe everything says to slice it and you're like, I'm going to cut my meat later after it's cooked. I've done all of those things. Or if your family doesn't love peppers, you can sub in another vegetable. I can make some recommendations if people have questions specifically, but that's kind of up to you. I would say generally go with what your family likes, and if they like it, they'll probably like it again. If it's a food your family has never enjoyed, Wild Tree is fantastic, but I doubt they're going to love it this time magically. So sub in the proteins, sub in the veggies, all those good things. As far as shopping goes, if you have an Aldi near you, I love Aldi for my freezer meal prep shopping. I can do it far cheaper than I can do it anywhere else there, and I can usually get everything I need. Occasionally there might be one random ingredient that, they don't have canned diced chilies or something like that, but those things are typically pretty easy for me to tack on in other places if I've done my shopping ahead of time. Other than that, generally you want to do your workshop prep the day or two before the workshop if possible. It is okay to use frozen meat. That's totally up to you. Obviously keep it frozen. We don't want it to be frozen, then thaw, and then have you stick it in your freezer again. That's very bad. So if you're starting out with frozen, just make sure you keep it frozen the whole time. Bring it to the workshop in a cooler, packed with ice. We'll work with it, and then you take it back home packed. Also, it happens to people if things get crazy that they just don't get the shopping done ahead of time. That's totally fine. Please still come to the workshop. Bring your freezer bags. We'll put all the Wild Tree ingredients in there ahead of time, and you can take it back home and add the things there at home. Most of the time it is not easier to bring all of your prep ingredients and try to do it at the same time. Just for safety and space reasons, I like to not have sharp knives and things out and around. And some people's homes don't have the space for us all to really do the prepping. I can do workshops. People don't need that much space to measure their Wild Tree ingredients, but if I'm doing the prep for an entire workshop, I take up my whole island. It takes, I've got stuff spread out and cutting boards and mess and raw meat and things. So generally it's easier to either do it before at home or do it after at home. So those are some of the most important things to know and keep in mind as you approach your workshop here. in the next couple days. If you have any questions, please comment below. I can access my Facebook almost anytime and try to get you those answers as quickly as possible so that we maximize the amount of success that you have from your workshop, because most people leave so happy with a freezer full or a cooler full of meals for their freezer. And I just love sending people home with the best possible shot of saving time and money and energy in the kitchen, and then also just enjoying a healthy, delicious meal with their family. So I'm excited to see you at your workshop soon. Have a great day.